I suppose we should go live then, shouldn't we? How's the game sound and stuff? So today we're doing Big Boy and Challenger. This was requested by CCT Mitch. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to watch today though, but he'll be able to catch up with it afterwards if he chooses to. So this is for you, Mitch. We have the Smokebox Big Boy. In fact, we have two Smokebox Big Boys. And just in case it explodes, I've built another scenario that's only got one. Because, you know, it's TS. Who knows what it'll do. We're running the high definition silver trim version. We have a bunch of questions about Sherman Hill and Big Boy and Challenger. So we're going to run Big Boy on freight, and then we're going to come back and run Challenger on passenger. Now, it's been a while since I've driven the Big Boy, so if I stuff it up, it's my fault. So this is Smokebox's giant beast. Let me just make sure his AI fireman's on, not Train Simulator's AI fireman. And because I can't remember how to turn off the brake notches, there's a good start. It was already in release, so now I have to put it in emergency, so excuse me while we do that. And we've got to wait for the notches. And one more. There we go. Hello, Neil TV8. Welcome, mate. Welcome. I've just made my initial mistake in the Big Boy by overcharging the brakes, and I'm now dropping all the air pressure down to 0 so that I can fix that. So we're just waiting for that red needle there. Actually, it should be fine by now anyway. Let's release. Because I can't use rail driver with these brakes because I can't remember how to turn off the bloody notches. I was just looking in the manual a moment ago. And I have to remember not to take them past running this time. Alright. Big Boy should be able to overpower its own brakes, surely. Now, is rail driver going to run the reverser for me? No, it's not. That's a bit tedious. I think. Actually, that means the rail driver software is not running. Let's try this again. Hang on a tick. Hang on a tick. You shouldn't see anything you're not going to see. It's alright. Let's just jump all the way to Train Simulator. Actually, let me just do... Oh no, it's fine. There's nothing on that screen you shouldn't see anyway. It's all good. I was just marginally paranoid about what was on that screen underneath the game. That's okay. It's all good. Let me crank it up again now. If it'll let me. Come on, you can do it. Yes, you can. I thought I'd started the rail driver software, but clearly I hadn't. So, just hang in there a moment. Do I have a caboose, Luca? Well, I personally do. It's called Bum. But anyway, whether the train has one, we'll know in a minute. And, formerly known as NITS, now known as Metro 212 Productions, which I will call MIPS, reckons he's got all three of these things. Aren't you lucky? We want Smokebox Double Extra 4000 West. Start. So basically what I did was I took the scenarios for DTG's Big Boy and put Smokebox's Big Boy in them. Now, actually, here's a good thing. So if this ever happens to you when you've made your own scenarios, and why is YouTube doing something funny to me? Stop it. Don't do that. If this happens when you made your own scenarios, you just press F2 and cancel, and off you go, because all it means is you edited a career scenario, which it doesn't like that very much. Yeah. Rail driver's still not talking to this thing. Oh, I know why. That's okay. We won't be running rail driver today, because I can't fix that while you're watching me. I know what's wrong. It's all good. We'll be doing it with keyboards today. Woohoo! Yay! Anyway, back in Big Boy. So far, so good. You want to be the guard, Luca? Well, right now I'm just running 2 Big Boy light engines, but we're going to be picking up this train over here. So we'll go down on the back and we'll have a look and see what's there, because I'm actually not sure. So if you've got a scenario that you like, but you don't like the locomotives in it, it's actually relatively easy to change them. I might even show you that between the 2 scenarios, how I do it, if you like. If that's interesting to people. Dave's doing Magnet for Trouble on Train Sim World. It's a bit of fun, that one. The numbers on the 2 Big Boys are 4011, and you can tell they're randomly generated, so we're going to have to look. 4001. Look at that. And the scenario we're running is called Extra 4000 West. Neil TV8 has done that with the VRBR 101 to swap out the default on Berlin Leipzig. Indeed. This is going to be a little bit of a pain doing this with mouse and keyboard without the rail driver, but that's okay. Hello, Richie Peach. I know exactly what's wrong with rail driver. I was using it for something else yesterday. Now, after I do this, I'm just going to have to have a quick look at the map. No, I'm going to have to actually pull ahead a little bit further forward. But I had to stop to make the scenario work, because it's built for 1 locomotive. So let's just pop in here. Let's release the train brake again. And we'll move just a little bit further forward until we clear these points so that I can set back. That'll do. Quick application of the train brake. Which isn't very quick when you're pulling another Big Boy behind you, because he doesn't want to stop. Train brake releasing. Do you know how long it's been since I've used keyboard to do this? I've almost forgotten how to do it. Now these are Smokebox locomotives. You drop your throttle back early. Richie Peach asks, how's 23 treating you? Okay so far. I've got a cold, but apart from that, fine. And 1,000,001 projects that my wife dreams up, but we're working our way through those. Almost finished a deck. I'll probably get that finished today, I think, if it doesn't rain. And then I might think about putting our new blinds up on the outside of the house, which would be awesome for days like yesterday, where it got to 39 degrees here in Frankston, which I think, what's that, about a bit over 100 and in the old money? Something along those lines anyway. And the scenario is real. It's the X4000 West scenario, which is one of DTG's scenarios on Sherman Hill, but I took away their Big Boy and put Smokebox's Big Boy in instead. Because if you're going to drive a Big Boy, drive a good Big Boy. Uh-oh, I'm missing something, aren't I? Am I missing that? Says he, pushing random buttons. There we go. Yes, I was talking Celsius, Richie Peach. An extremely hot day. I was actually meant to be working at Puffing Billy, but the combination of my cold and knowing how well I deal with heat I didn't think that was a great idea. There we are, nice little safety stop. Come down here, we can be Shunter Jack. Come on back, big boy. Didn't you always want to say that? Beautiful. All right. We are coupled now. Since we're here, let's go back. Look at that, Luca. Look at that. There's a little house for you to live in, number 1054, and you've even got a radio. There you go. We have a train order on Form 19, Union Pacific Extra 4000 West. We'll operate from Cheyenne Yard to the crew change point at Laramie Station. Extra 4000 West is authorised to depart Cheyenne at 3:06 p.m. or later, and as governed by signal indications, westbound on track 2. Completed and signed, Dispatcher AMA. The brakeman, our departure route from Cheyenne Yard is to be via Cheyenne North 010 West and Cheyenne North New Way West. We'll need to call tab for the signal governing mainline entry. All right, let's go back up the front. Let's have a look at our map and see what the hell they were talking about there. So that's us here. I haven't got my sharing my cursor turned on. That's okay. Top right-hand corner is us, the red train. And we're going to be running down the short lead. Looks like the points are set all the way through for us, except possibly that one, because we want to go to north. And then, yep, we're all set all the way out to the main line. So we're just ready to go. No three-step in this day and age, young man. As usual, you're just wrong. And what's funny is I haven't released the train brake, but it's released. Ah. How's my reverser? Let's get that all the way forwards as well, because we don't want to go backwards, do we? Probably help. Time to make some noise. Stretched out the train, now it's got to work a bit harder. You can do it. Not that we've pumped up the air or anything like that, but you know. It's magic. It's TS. You don't have to. Luca asks, what is the fastest ever got a steam engine in Train Sim Classic? Probably in the vicinity of about 100 miles an hour. 127, I think. Yeah, that Mallard scenario. Let's give it a little bit more in the steam chest. There we go. Now I'll have to back this off pretty quickly or we'll wheel spin when I close the cylinder cocks. But let's get her going. She doesn't want to go. What does it think the train air brake is doing? Now we're only on 70 pounds on the train air brake. So what notch are we in here? Ah, there's your problem. Yeah, driver's off. Dingbat. I was going to say something else then, but, you know, PG, all that sort of thing. Alright, this time for sure. Off you go. See you later. Go on. Get on with it. Hello, NJTE. How are you? You know when I was talking about waiting to pump up the air before, that's exactly what's happening now. Oh, you can do it. There we go. Let's drop that back so we don't wheel spin. Close the cylinder cocks. That's better. Luca got up to 250 mile an hour. In space, perhaps. Off go the two big boys. Neil TV8 says his was with the FEF3 and 143 miles per hour in WCML North. Nice one. I am okay, NJTE. Welcome back, by the way. I hope you're feeling better. As our train slides out of Cheyenne. Lucas says his high-speed steam run on the Mallard, which went to, if I scroll back a little, what did you get to? 250 miles an hour, was helped by a TGV. Okay. That's one way to do it. I do have to admit, I have put the pump car on the front of a train before. This is a fairly large unit. I didn't tell Mike about this stream, so we'll see if he notices. He drops in on stream sometimes when his locos are running. And Neil broke the locomotive at his speed because it wanted to stop. Yeah, that would happen. NJT asks, will you run the new ScotRail when it comes out? I certainly will. NJT is talking about the Edinburgh-Glasgow route with the... They have revealed what the train is, isn't they? I'm trying to remember. 835, I think. Luca wishes he had Big Boy. I think it was just on sale, in the summer sale. There'll be another sale soon enough. Dovetail do love their Steam sales. Class 385. Thank you, Neil TV8. But yes, I will definitely run that one. I will be at the same level as all the other ambassadors, because I know most of you know I beta for DTG. I have not actually baited that route. So I will have the same level of experience as everybody else that streams it on day one, which is about a day and a half. Woohoo! Do you think this train's ever going to end? Yes! There it is. There's Lucas' little rolling house. All right, let's go back up the front where it's more interesting. How's the game sound for you guys? High enough, low enough compared to me? Now, do you want to know what they'd really do for a road inside a yard? That'd be it. Luca wants to get the old Big Boy in a route with the Challenger. You can do that. The Challenger's on this route, Sherman Hill, and the old Big Boy is on Wasatch Grade. The other thing that you get with Sherman Hill, I think, I might check and make sure, but I think you actually get the Union Pacific passenger consist as well with Sherman Hill's Challenger pack. So you've got to buy the Challenger and Sherman Hill, and then you get that consist. Looks like we're not going to have to call for the signal, because I'm looking up there and that looks pretty green to me. So it's one of those scenarios where sometimes the signals probably don't work. So they hedge their bets and say, call for the signal. And this time we don't have to. That just happens with TS. It's one of the many things on Steve's list. And the list I referred to as Steve's list, Steve is the producer for Train Simulator Classic. And Steve has a list. And there's a whole lot of stuff that they want to do to the game to rejuvenate it and bring it a bit more alive. So we'll see how that goes over time. Luca is getting Wasatch grade. This is where you have a quick look and make sure there's nothing coming. And there's not. There's nothing up there in the passenger station. Now, train's still crawling out of the yard, which is why I'm going quite slowly, by the way. I don't want to break anything. Here's another train coming in. This one will have the old Big Boy on it, I think, or possibly the old Challenger. I didn't change the other ones in the scenario because if you change them all, it will just explode. Yeah, look at the horrible smoke. It's the old one. So now you know what the old Big Boy looks like, as compared to the Smokebox Big Boy, which looks cool. What's the ghost train issue, Neil TV8? Sleep well, Luca? Or are you just jumping out of the van? Hello, David Park. Welcome. The big boys have finally gotten going, but I have to bring them back. Because if I don't, we'll derail all that stuff that's snaking through those curves back there. As there's a lot of snaking going on. David asks, what DLC am I most excited for? It's a good question. I do like an electric commuter, so I think Edinburgh Glasgow will be fun. I do also kind of like steam rail tours if they're not just from one end to the other. So the upcoming WCL stuff could be good too. I am looking forward to what the Acela will bring to Boston. Because at Acela speeds, and I know based on the last stream that this information is public now, at Acela speeds of 150 mile an hour, you'll be able to do the Boston route in about 20 minutes. But of course, you'll have the slow bits at either end of it. We've almost finished snaking out of there. Give it a bit more power, I think, and we're not going to go anywhere because we are already going up a fairly steep hill. We're already on the 0.8%, heading for the 1.6. I haven't actually tried to get Big Boy over this grade. I don't even know if it can with this train, so we'll find out. We shall soon know. All right, last set of points, so it's safe to speed up now. Let's get back up the front and get on with it. Let's use all the beans. See if we can tear out some couplers. Pair of big boys working pretty hard. Just start to bring the reverser back a little bit or we'll use too much steam. You don't want to wheel slip a steam engine Metra. Slipping a steam engine's a bad thing because what it does is it sucks your fire off the grate, pulls it through the boiler tubes and ejects it out of the funnel, which means you then have to build a new fire. These engines have automatic stokers, so it's not quite as backbreaking, but even so. There's my steam pressure going. We're going good. We are still accelerating, which is a good sign, up to 0.8%. Let's see how far I can bring the reverser back and still accelerate. Neil TV8 says he can't wait for the accelerator. It's going to make the route more fun. Indeed it will. I believe it will also lend itself to the possibility of future NEC content in Train Sim World. So I look for a bright future of more routes one day. David Park says there's lots of good add-ons coming. He's interested in the Acela for sure. Still don't yet know about TSG's route or the Rivet route. Well, the Rivet route is Edinburgh-Glasgow. And I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but Rivet actually built Cathcart Circle, or most of it anyway, for DTG. So they have experience with Scottish routes. We are still accelerating with the reverser at 44, so I think I'll leave it there. I'm only accelerating slowly, but I'll leave it there. Because, you know, they're steam engines, they accelerate slowly. Mr. Coaster Coaster says it's UP4011. You are correct. And, of course, we also have... You probably can't read it because it went by too quick. 4001. David Park says for future NEC content, he'd love to see the AEM7, which is an Amtrak locomotive, and the HHP8, also an Amtrak locomotive. And yeah, you know about Rivet's route and what they did, lol. Excellent. Train's moving a little faster now, which is good. Still accelerating. The fact that we're still accelerating on the 0.8 gives me hope that we'll actually get over the 1.6. These aren't duplex engines, Mr. Coaster Coaster. They are two engines under one boiler, that's true, but a duplex engine is an engine with high pressure and low pressure steam cylinders, and these only have high pressure cylinders. So it's just two engines, essentially, under one boiler. We should probably start our quiz, shouldn't we? While this slowly wends its way uphill, because, you know, being a freight, from this point onwards, there's not that much to do. Apart from what should happen. Cool, let's just jump back up here and see what the signal is. No, we're all good. Have a quick look around the cab. It's got lots of knobs and things that you can twiddle. Do so at your own peril, because of course if you start twiddling the fireman's knobs, you take over. And it's a complex beast to fire, this one. David Park says he's just trying to choose wisely so it doesn't become a case of buy it, forget about it, like I've gotten almost every single legacy content on big sales and don't touch most of them. I know that feeling very well. If I have a quick look at Train Simulator Classic over on my Steam screen, I have 161 DLC. So, yeah. There's a bit of cash tied up there, and I have to say I got most of that before I was an ambassador. So I have in fact bought most of my DLC, and I still buy most of my DLC. So I do get some of the new stuff from DTG when it comes out. Not all of it. And there are some things that... Some things I get into because I like helping them out. That's the New Zealand stuff. And I partly do that because they're a really good team of people. And because it's the nearest thing to Australian content I'm going to get. And you really reckon they do all that for a dirt road? No. And David goes, but you finished all those scenarios, haven't you? Well, no, probably not. And Metro, that's what I said. Yes, it is an articulated, very much so. The two engine units are separate. It's quite interesting to watch them on tight curves, actually, because they... A little bit like the KB with its trailing power truck. They really push the simulator to its limits. But anyway, let's start the quiz for today. So, welcome to... This is the third quiz for 2023. Oh, well, you know something that just occurred to me? I didn't put up a leaderboard from last week. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. But anyway, just to let you know, Rolliston Rails is currently in the lead. I forgot to post it. I made it and I didn't post it. Bugger. But anyway, first question. How many big boys were built for 10 points? Here comes another old one. It's going significantly faster because it has no physics and it's going downhill. Whereas we're not. We're going to go via Borry, which is funny to an Australian. Metra 212, congratulations. First answer on the 25. Now, what am I going to do with you on the leaderboard since you keep changing your name? Should I change you from Nits to being Mips? Dave Randall, you're just a moment in behind Metra there. I do take the answers on the order that I see them in the chat, which may be different to the order you see them. Ooh, we're slowing down a little bit, aren't we? Better give it some more reverser, because we're on the 1% now. I was kind of hoping we would have picked up a little bit more speed, but we haven't. How's our steam pressure? Oh, that's still alright. The automatic fireman's coping okay. If you do get these locomotives, there we go, we're maintaining now. No, we're not. If you do get these locomotives, make sure you turn off the game's automatic fireman under the gameplay menu. Because if you don't, its automatic fireman won't work properly, and the game's automatic fireman doesn't cope well with Big Boy, and you'll end up with no steam very quickly. Oh, we are still losing speed. I don't like this. We're only on the 1%. We're not even on the steep bit yet. This could be a slower run than I was planning. There we go. I think we've stabilised now. Maybe. Or are we still slowing down? Maybe I should have put 3 of them on here. Imagine if we only had one. See, the challenge with this scenario is the train is massive. It's a realistic train, but it's massive. And it's longer than what the big boys would have hauled in reality, because, I don't know, it's a diesel route. It's set up for diesels. So I put 2 of them on here, knowing that DTG's big boy could pull it, but DTG's big boy's got really bad physics, whereas this one's got really good physics, so... We'll see how we go. We're still losing speed very slowly. So let's pick it up a little bit more. Got the 4 in. That's right, David Park. So definitely use the scripted auto fireman. John's having a closer read of the FRA rules about whistling the other day. And if the crossings are close together, you actually don't have to do 4. It's up to the driver what they do. And this one's getting nothing. Little dirt road. Now the question is, so chat, should I give Metro 212 Productions some extra points for answering that 20 of them were built in 1941 and 5 in 1944? Should I give him extra points? Oh, gratuitous water shot. Quick. I think this bankment might be too big. Oh no, there we go. We get a little bit of a reflection. Probably get a better one at the end there. Gratuitous screenshot. You know, I can't say whether you say yes or not, Metra, but Dave says you can have more. So, we'll give you 20 for that answer. We're slowing down, aren't we? Yes, we are. And I can hear my neighbours getting into the power tools, so if you start to hear them, let me know and I'll close the windows, because the house is still a little warm and humid from yesterday, so I've got a lot of windows open because it's a much cooler day today. Yes, David Park, the water in TSC is still superior to TSW. Now, in TSW on recent routes, they've actually been pretty good. So Unreal's water can be excellent, but for Unreal's water to be excellent, it's hugely GPU intensive. So I understand why they're not doing it. Because normally you make Unreal's water really excellent in first-person shooters where you're going to walk through a puddle and you want to see all the reflections and everything. But in the more recent routes, they're sticking with their lower quality water, but they've also got a lot of pond scum and stuff on the top, which makes it look so much better. Lexic Duck says, watching people play with their Big Boy can give people size envy, and pushing your Big Throw through Borry is certainly a thing. Yes, you can tell Lexic Duck is an Aussie. Because to an Aussie, and probably New Zealanders as well, having a Borry is something you generally do by yourself. I think only Germans do it in teams. Poking fun at Lexic Dark, because, you know, we're still slowing down. We're on the 1.5 now. Let's give it some more grunt. And we're blowing off safety valves. More grunt. There we go. And sooner or later we're going to stabilise at about 2 mile an hour. We all know that, so we'll get there at some point. We do have rather a way to go, because we're here. We're going Borry Main East. And we've got to go all the way up here. So we've got a while to go. May not be a fast trip. And if it turns out to be really boring, we'll bail on it and go on with the passenger trip. So we'll run this one. It's 9:12 right now, my time, Australian Eastern Daylight Time. So we'll run this one till 10 o'clock. And if we don't make it, we will bail and run the passenger. Because while they look good and sound good, did I get that on? Nope. Nope. No, don't do that. Which key was it? Ah, got it. I accidentally turned that on. Yeah, it definitely is the job of a modern diesel flying up to 1.5 at 40 mile an hour. You're right. The steamers just don't do it and can't do it. But they're actually doing pretty well. I'm actually relatively impressed that we're still doing 16 mile an hour. I would have thought that we would have lost that, but no, we're doing okay. I think where we'll end up settling is somewhere around the 12 mile an hour mark, and that's where it'll settle down. I can try and give it a bit more power. How's our steam going? Steam is fine. What I'm looking at is that gauge that's showing 300. So our automatic fireman is very much keeping up with us, which is good. Just imagine how much coal it's chewing through to lift a train of this size up this hill. There's a reason these things were replaced. Oops. Token whistle. Do you think I should watch that way, maybe? So I know when the crossings are coming. We have a green on the stick. It's actually kind of funny, on my last run on Puffing Belly, it's normal for us to have green signals everywhere we go as a train because we have signalmen that set stuff up. And we were rolling on into Lakeside, and we did not actually have a green signal. We had a red. And we were going uphill. With a very heavy train, the maximum tonnage for that part of the route. And a pair of very tired firemen, because it was a 38-degree day, and we were both stuffed. And we're both going, oh no, we're stopping. Because then you've got to get it really hot again while it's not moving so that you can get going again when the signal goes green. Which it did right after we stopped. That's life. So out of the 25 of these machines that were built, how many of them are operable today? Note, I'm not saying existing, I'm saying operable. Lexic Dark says mastering 2 big boys at once should certainly give a sense of achievement. Well, the second big boy is simply there. It's providing power. There's nothing to master, it will just thrust in the back. Metro, you're doing okay. There is one. You are correct. And which one is it, Metra? I see a train. Dave Randall says 0. Why do you say 0, Dave? Have they broken it? I know it's off the tracks at the moment, because it's winter time. And Metro, you're correct. It's 4014. You're doing all right today. Your big boy knowledge, or should I say your ability to search Wikipedia, is doing quite well. Bear in mind, some of the questions today you will not find in Wikipedia. I may have done that deliberately. Oh, what? 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 I have an automatic fireman. How did I run out of water? What? Wow. All right, we're not running that one till 10 o'clock, clearly. Clearly. That went well. That went really well. But that's okay. Come on, you. Don't look at quick drive. Yeah, we're going to run the other one. Smokebox challenging. That one. Smokebox double challenging. That's the one we want. My automatic fireman was naughty. It's not the train driver's job to make sure he's got water at the start of the trip. That's the fireman's job. I wonder if the act of putting a second one on the back is what actually caused that problem. But anyway, welcome to the Challenger locomotive, 3951. Because I wonder if the second one isn't watered when it comes into a consist. I thought we had to load passengers here, but clearly not. We're just ready to go. Alright then. Looks like the train brake is actually released on this one, which is good. We have 280 pounds in the boiler. Let's make sure our expert fireman is turned on. Here he is. And off we go. These guys will have a much easier run of it going up the hill. Because they have a much lighter train. They're going pretty much the same way. Yeah, so I think I will have to test that Lexic Dark. Or I can just ask Mike Rennie, who made the locomotive. Because he may not have expected anybody to double-head the things, because there are no double-headed scenarios. And I have to say it makes TrainSim take 27 gig of memory to run two of them, which most people simply wouldn't have. There's our train. Got a couple of Vista cars in it. They were, of course, replaced by 10 cars. Ooh. Hello, Central Illinois Railfan Productions. Welcome. So this one's got water in it, look, halfway on the glass. But we're losing steam pressure rapidly. Come on, automatic fireman, do your thing. Don't let me down. Wow, we're using steam pressure so rapidly. That's a green on the signal. He's desperately twiddling his knobs over here, so he's working. He's desperately trying to get to a state where we're going to get more steam pressure. Uh-oh. Getting down to 150 almost. Oh, the needle stopped dropping. Is it going back up, or am I imagining it? Metra says he did a passenger train with a Challenger and a Northern in January of 1959. Blow the whistle. How's that then? I probably should anyway, because there's a crossing here. There you go, you get your 4. And some diesels. Simrail is out, Dayton Park, you're right. I'm still on the fence with Simrail. I can see it's got some great potential. And I think it's a good thing that they changed it from full release to an early access release, because it's clearly not finished. Yeah, so I think that's true, Lexic Dark. The fireman is giving us everything that they've got. Needle has stopped going down, at least. You know, I'd like another 100 pounds, thanks. This is a big engine, it needs it. I wonder if we can sneak back far enough. And then sneak in here. Can I get in? Or can I at least see through the window? I'm just trying to see the steam pressure gauge in the back one. Yeah, he's got 0. Didn't simulate it when it's in the AI position. David Park says he's going to stick to Train Sim World because of the variety it offers in terms of trains and different routes that he can get if bored. Yes. Yeah, look, I think SimRail's got a way to go. And I think if you look at the reviews, it's not hard to see. In fact, if you took the... Let's put this a different way. If you took the names from the reviews that are massively enthusiastic about SimRail and saying it can't do any wrong and it's absolutely perfect, and then you'd look at those same names on DTG reviews and on sanding. Why are we sanding? But on DTG reviews and on the comments on the forum, you'll discover that those are the people that actually hate DTG. They don't care how good or bad the game is, they just hate on it. And they think SimRail is their holy grail. SimRail is going to bring everything that they need in a train simulator. And at the moment, to save face, they're simply pretending it doesn't have any issues. But it has some really big issues. It's playable. It's fun. It's a new country to learn, new signalling to learn, new safety systems to learn. So, it's cool shit. The multiplayer aspect I really like. I hope that's a winner for them, I really do. The dispatch, I think, needs some polish. If you compare the way their dispatch system works, or the signalling works, if you compare it to other multiplayer platforms like Run 8, they've got a long way to go. And there are some poor UI choices in the game. As a signaller, you need 2 screens. One is your timetable, and the other one is your signal graph. Why can't you have that on 2 monitors? Why do you have to keep flipping back and forth? What I'd love to see is a way to have all 3 visual things on your screen at the same time. I want a view out of the signal box. I want my signal graph screen so that I can actually control stuff. And I want my timetable. And I want to see them all at once. I don't want to be flipping back and forth between 3 views. Excuse me for coughing in your ear. Yeah, look, SimRail's not bad by a long shot. That's why I say it's got some excellent promise. It's going to need a lot more variety of routes and consists to be a winner. Anywhere outside of Poland, anyway. At the moment, it's all Polish content entirely. They have said they're going to bring out stuff for the UK. They've said they're going to bring out stuff for America. I think they talked... Was it Brazil? Is the other one they talked about? I think. So, yeah, it's got promise. If you want to get it and try it out, I'd probably suggest doing it on PC, because you can get it through Steam. You can always refund it if you don't like it after a couple of hours. In Australia, it's in the vicinity of $50 odd, I think, to get it. Something like that. Let me check, actually. Let me have a look. Just have a look for it on Steam right now, and I'll tell you. It's $45.85, in fact. You can still get the prologue as a freebie to have a play. And they have made some interesting design choices. Getting into multiplayer in the early access version is not like the version that we had a couple of weeks ago. You actually have to pass a tutorial. And it's quite a hard tutorial. It's more than just teaching. So, yeah, if you expect that, you'll be okay and you'll be happy. But if you expect to just jump in and play multiplayer because it's like any other multiplayer console game, you don't have to learn anything, you can just get in there and learn as you go. Well, it's not like that. And there's entry barriers. So if you're prepared to deal with that, then that's fine. I do like that they've had a crack at multiplayer, though. That weird building. Now, this was a bit of the FRA rules I was reading the other day, is that you don't actually have to do 4 for the next one. We've gotten further than the other time. They're making me paranoid now. There is water in the boiler this time. I can see it. Let's make sure the gauge glass is right. Oh, it's going to be hard to get onto this gauge glass. I won't bother. Oh, our steam pressure's come back up. Look at that. Miracles. That means I can use more of it. Take that, fireman. Always like this view. You can't do this in Train Sim World because your camera gets smacked around. We're still sanding. Why are we sanding? I suspect it's automatic and it's trying to maintain traction. That's okay. We should get back to our quiz. Why was 4014 restored? Got the regulator on the roof. I can't have any more. I cannot give it any more, Captain. She'll explode. Hopefully she won't. She'll just run out of steam. In fact, I'll be nice to the fireman. Let's knock it back a bit, because I was just watching the steam gauge there and that needle was heading down the cascades again. Crossing time. The makers of this route are very patriotic. Well, not really, because the makers of this route is DTG. But they're reflecting the patriotism of the country with its myriad of flags. They're everywhere. It is one thing that you definitely notice if you travel to America as an outsider, is that there are flags everywhere. Very, very proud of their flag. Whereas here you tend to see them on public buildings and McDonald's, and that's about it. No one's having a crack at why was 4014 restored, or are you still hunting for it? It's worth 20 points this one, which would suggest it's not a Wikipedia question. Why did Union Pacific restore 4014? Our Steam Special is going to be holding up the railway behind us. Ooh. TS struggled a little with the two challenges there. I don't know if you noticed it got all flickery. I don't know if that came across in the video or not. Hello, Brad MacArthur. Celebrate the 150th anniversary of the Transcontinental Railroad's completion. You are correct. Well done. And thank you for continuing your membership. No, that wasn't why it was restored, Metro. That's why it was chosen to be restored. David Park says he hasn't had McDonald's in ages. McDonald's in Australia is actually kind of good, so it's not like American McDonald's. It's actually funny when American friends come and visit, I like to take them to McDonald's and they kind of go, "What the? There's no one here stealing our food. There's no one homeless, and the food's actually good." If you want to experience American McDonald's at its finest, go to the McDonald's near the San Francisco Wharf on Market Street. It'll be the most interesting experience you have in your entire life. Don't take anything valuable. Just go in there, take a little bit of cash. You'll be giving it away. It's a very interesting experience that you'll have in there. Yes, we have food at ours, Metro. Not mush. They're also a totally separate business. They've actually got nothing to do with McDonald's in America. They just use the trademark. They aren't beholden to the mothership. Should we look at this signal? It is green. Excellent. What's this waiting up on the siding? What is the size of the grate in the firebox on a Big Boy in square feet? And there's no point looking up 4014's stats because 4014 does not have a grate anymore. And while you're thinking about that one, what do you think are the most important things to fix or update in Train Simulator? Well done to you, Dave Randall. Where did you find 96, Brad? It is actually 150. It's quite a big firebox. But it would have to be to feed the Big Boy's boiler. Same with the Challenger. Another big firebox. How are we doing for water, speaking of paranoia? Have we got any? Yep, I see it. It's pretty low, but I see it. Steady here at milepost 520, watching our train roll past. Still heading up the 1.5% grade and still losing speed. But we haven't done any reverse of magic yet. SF Sand Roadblocks. Dare you to whistle. Well, that's not much of a dare. There you go. Would you like to hear it up close? You want to see it from the outside? It's a bit bare on Sherman Hill, isn't it? A bit bereft. There you go. That wasn't much of a dare. So when 404 originally came onto the railway in service, what was its fuel? We've got a passenger view on this train? No, we don't. No, I'll stick with this then. SFS and Roblox. Fair enough. Are you playing trains in Roblox FSS? I shall assume that's the flight simulator. But surprise train. Almost hit me in the head. Should get our fireman to jump on that and shovel some into our tender. Metro is correct on the current question. But, you know what? Dave, you're correct on the next question. What is it today? Which is oil. So well done to both of you. Now here's a question you won't find on Wikipedia. How many different variations of Big Boy are there in Train Simulator Classic? That's how many different DLC, just for clarity. In fact, it's something I better actually check, because I'm pretty sure I know the answer. I am correct. Thought I was. SFS and Roblox says 3. Metra says 5. SFS and Roblox, you are in fact correct. There are 3 different DLC that feature a Challenger of, a Big Boy of one version or another. And there have been, DTG have built the Big Boy twice, and Smokebox has built the penultimate version of it. And no, we're not looking at Big Boy anymore, we are looking at Challenger. You're going to give me your middle finger, are you, Metra? You go right ahead. I can't see it. Don't wear your finger out though, mate, and make sure you clean it afterwards. Yeah, it definitely is 3. 3 variations of the locomotive. There are some other DLC which have a variant of the Big Boy in them, but they're the same locomotive. Oh no, 50 miles an hour, whatever will we do? How are we going to slow down it? Oh wait, we're fine. Look at all of our 0 passengers. There's no one in these. Oh, yes, there is. Yes, there are people in that one. In the Vista Dome. But there's no one in the bottom. Is there anyone in this Vista Dome? We'll see. Yes, there's 2 people in that one. How's our water? Still low but visible. Look at that steam. Plenty of steam. And here comes a diesel. Let's get down in the middle. Ah! Can't do it. Can't do it. Ah, we're going to go through the diesel. Alright. That's fine. So for our next question, we're still on the Big Boy. I can get that in there now, I think. There we go. I don't know why it wouldn't let me in here before, but it clearly wouldn't. You got me to whistle. Fair enough. There you go. I hope that was good for you. By default, on which route do all of the different versions of Big Boy run on in TSC? And, this is funny, do you know that there are 2 things from Train Simulator Classic that are in Train Sim World? Here's one of them. The 1-ton bags of coal are also in Train Sim World. Let's get up next to our locomotives and get onto the sunny side so we can see what they're doing. Wasatch grade to Metra. Yes. You're doing okay this week, Metra. Now, here's an interesting one for you. This is an interesting pair of questions. Because it's easy to get it wrong. Which engine is more powerful out of Big Boy and Challenger? It's for 10 points. Which engine is more powerful, Big Boy or Challenger? So FSS and Roblox says that Big Boy is more powerful. It actually is correct in which one is which one is more powerful. Now, the next question, which leads on from that one, is out of Big Boy and Challenger, which one can more usefully apply that power? SF and S Roblox thinks it's Big Boy. Metra thinks it's both. Brad MacArthur thinks it's Big Boy. Dave Randall thinks it's Big Boy. SFS and Roblox has changed the answer to Challenger. It's an interesting question. It does have an answer. And I'm just letting you know that one of you does actually have it right. It is actually Challenger. Challenger can actually put more of its power onto the rails than Big Boy can, without slipping. It's a bit of an esoteric question. It actually took me a while to find the right answer. Is that the lowest resolution bush you've ever seen? There's that low resolution bush again. Actually, you know what, SFS and Roblox? I am asking people of what kinds of things should TSC change and fix so that I can pass it back to Steve. I'll put into the suggestions list that AI engine should return a friendly whistle or honk. Dave says he's seen lower res on his Spectrum 48K. I imagine you have. I didn't have a Spectrum. I had a ZX81, and then I had a VIC-20. And I have to say the VIC-20 was a massive upgrade to the ZX81. Down to less than 20 mile an hour. How are we going on where we are? Oh, not bad. Not too bad. We've got to go past the quarry. Trying to remember where the summit actually is on this route. It's been a while. Buford Centre. I think that's it. SFS and Roblox think they should add derails and cartridge connection loss. Why do you think they should add derailments? It actually will derail now if you try hard enough. You get more power is making me lose speed even faster. Let's go the other way. Oh. We run out of steam. No, we got lots of steam. We're just going to have to find a good spot to settle on. That's looking promising. No, still slowing down. Meant the carriage falling off. Ah. Hello, Roy J Music. You had a VIC-20 as well. They're a wonderful machine for their time. With its whole 3.5K of memory. Quite amazing what you can do with such a small amount of memory, actually. These days, your average calculator has more memory. Ooh, we're starting to accelerate again. That's good to see. I'd have to go a little bit faster than this to be able to derail SFS and Roblox. There's a view. couple of diesels going past going, what was that? I'm glad I put 2 of these on here, because imagine how slow I'd be going with just one. You do like 4 miles an hour. So the quiz is moving on to the challenges now. How many challenges were built? Always honk at Gunzels. Metra says 105. Dave says 111. I've got 105 as the answer. Where did you see 111, Dave? Might have to do some research. SFS says 104. Brad says 105. I kind of think it's 105. At least that's what my source had. Metro was the first one that had 105 as the answer. And how many of those challenges exist today? That's what I want. I need to be able to get there. Yay, we have lights. Big. Let's do this guy's view for a while. Brad says 1. Metra says 2. Ah, Dave Randall. Nice answer. 105 for UP plus 6 for the Denver and Rio Grande Western. All right. You know what? I will have to pay that. I only looked at 105. So, and I've chucked in some bonus points. And for the ones that exist currently, let's see our answers. Metro was the first one that answered with 2. There are 2. Still 2 that physically exist. All this effort for a dirt road. It's a walking track. Reality is you wouldn't even blow your whistle for that. Doesn't even go anywhere. Look, it just ends just there. Oh well. We'll do the right thing though. Take this cue for a little while. SFS and Roblox dares me to somehow crash. Well, you can dare me to blow the whistle, but you won't dare me to do that one. Look, fireman's blowing down gauges. Good to see. So of the two that are left, how many of them actually run today? Good on you, Metro. Go for your life. Dave Randall first in there with 1. Well done. That is correct. One of them does in fact operate today for Union Pacific. Metro is almost correct. It actually is in the shops at the moment, but it's in the shops for its winter overhaul. It's not that it's not operable, it's just having some work done. So it is actually in service now. Get that sign set. Welcome to Wyoming. Fair enough. Cross the line, folks. We're in the dangerous country now. Where men and they all get into camels. Not that kind of camel, Lexic Dark. Is this one going to be a real road? Or am I going to be disappointed again? It's not effort for someone driving a Jeep. We use that brief less grade to accelerate slightly. Back on the 1.5 now. Back to losing speed. Excellent. Just where we want to be. Losing speed. Oh, look, they work. The car's not moving. Come on, car. No, you're not going to do it. All right, you stay there. You sit there right in the middle of the road and you be happy. There's something I think should be fixed in TSC. A greater amount of particle emissions would be really good, because steam engines, when they're working hard like this, they do not look like this. They are just belching crap out everywhere. Coming up on Granite Main 1 West. There's a big loop of track up here for a mine. Or a quarry. Quarry's probably a better description than a mine, although they're almost the same thing, aren't they, really? One's getting rock and the other one's getting rock-containing ore. I think I heard a momentary slip then from one of those engines. Seems to have recovered though. off to Buford. See, as an Aussie I want to call that Buford, but apparently not. In TSC, the particle emitters are very old tech, and they're actually quite hard on the computer, and they limit it. There's one of those funny things of TSC, that engines turn into the colour of the grass. Always thought that was funny. But the particle emissions are very, very limited in TSC. I think it was done at a time when computers simply couldn't process them. So if they do successfully upgrade to DX12, I would expect that could be lifted. Because don't forget, TSC still runs on DX9. That was a rough transition into that curve. Yeah, Trains is pretty good at blasting out crap. I have to agree with that, Brad. Here's another train. Let's get down in my favourite posse if I can. There we go. Go a little bit forward maybe so we can see some motion. The diesels roll by in full dynamics. No great surprise there. Which Challenger is it that's actually operable today? I haven't played Trains for a while, Brad. I should. I was thinking about cancelling my subscription to the ongoing Trains DLC downloads. And then I forgot about it and it automatically renewed and I went, whatever. I think DX12 should be a high priority for TSW and for TSC. I don't see either of them doing it. You can actually run TSW in DX12 mode. Just do --DX12 on the launch parameters and it'll do it. I remember in TSW2 there were actually some things that were a bit funny when you ran it in DX12 mode. I'm not sure if those things got addressed with TSW3. It's been ages since I tried. Electric Dark says, weird, it must be an engine issue, it's not for the GL. Probably how they implemented it even prior to DX9. Yeah, I think it is an issue for the game engine itself. And it wouldn't surprise me if it still uses the MSTS particle emitters, which go back to pre-DX days. And 3985 is the right answer to Metra there, and to Brad as well. I don't think it actually is out of service, Metra. I'm pretty sure it's been out recently for a special. So perhaps not in common service might be a better way to describe it. It's like one of our trains. It's out so rarely that no one actually knows it runs. And then there's our big VR Garrett, which if it does a few more kilometres, will have to do a D exam. So they're running the South African Garrett instead. And the big one's in the museum, where it will sit until someone feels like getting it out. It's got a few Ks up its sleeve to be able to run the occasional special runs for anniversaries and things like that, but Brad asks, is it even possible such an old game to be upgraded to the X12? Yes, it is. It's physically possible to do it. There's different techniques. You could actually change the game engine so it uses DX12 natively. That would be huge. Or you could write a DX11 emulator for DX12, and there's a few of those that actually exist commercially, so you could just buy one and then make your game engine talk to that. Oops. Yeah, that's losing speed even faster. Just trying to find a sweet spot. Makes me wonder if we're losing steam pressure. It is struggling. Try this way. There we go. There we go. Found the sweet spot. So when Sherman Hill first opened, what was the ruling grade? As a percentage. No, we're not even running all that late. $1.92. Congratulations, Dave Randall. You have the right answer. It was 1.92 when it first opened, and it's gone through various changes that have reduced that. So here's an interesting question for you. When did the cities of Omaha and Ogden get closer together according to the Sherman Hill Railroad? Got some good acceleration now that the grade's dropping off a little. Metra's wheels are on fire. Metra has guessed 1867. Or 1862. Both guesses. Dave's thinking 1901, and Dave would be right. That one was a slightly harder question, so that one was worth 20 points. How much closer together did they get, Dave? Only Dave can answer this question. You're probably on the right page. I didn't ask a question about Cheyenne, Metra. I asked when Omaha and Ogden got closer together. Basically what happened is they re-engineered the line. And they realigned it, and they shaved 40 miles between Omaha and Ogden by taking a new path. It's actually 40 miles, Dave, that they managed to save. So the Sherman Hill Railroad is American standard gauge, 4 foot 8 inches. What other gauges has it had in history? Admittedly, this gauge was before it actually opened. Yeah, I did say a 40-mile reduction, Brad. They took an entirely different path. It's a massive reduction. Imagine trying to do that today, but all these property owners going, "No, I don't want a train in my backyard." I know there was 2 feet in Maine, but on this railroad, which is on the other side of the country, what other railway gauge did it have? It's 4 foot 8 today, but it had something else while it was being constructed in only a few places. In fact, thinking about it, it might have actually been during one of the realignments. It might not have been the original construction railroad. About to smack our faces into a Vistadome, I think. There it is. That seems to have more people in it now than it did before. Interesting. It's a pretty heavy slog going up this hill. We're getting there though. We got water. Got water. Got steam. Going well. Fireman's doing a good job. Oh, well done, Dave Randall. 3 foot. You are correct. Because that one was a little bit harder and a little bit hard to find, that was also worth 20 points. Is that just a guess, Brad, or have you found something on 5 foot? I only found the one, but that doesn't mean that's the only document that exists. When you drive through Wyoming, you think it's dead flat. But clearly it's not. It's been a while since I drove through Wyoming. A long while. About 20 years, in fact. coming up that we need to whistle at. Pissant little crossing. You know what? We're going to be rebels. Best you're getting. Oh, we got further though. We got further. What are we going to do now? What are we going to do now? What are we going to do indeed? So we didn't quite make it over Sherman Hill with the Smokebox Challengers. I have a faint suspicion that the AI locomotive isn't adding water. So eventually it ran out. What we could try, I did in case it blew up, have just one locomotive. Or I could always show you how I changed it. Yeah, it went bang. That's life though. That's life. That's life. So I'll tell you what. We'll have a look at... What should we do? Let's go to the main menu. Just trying to think. Have I got anything in TSC that you should see? I don't think so. Don't think so. I think I'm safe doing this. What should we do? Why don't we have a crack at one of these? Big Boy maximum tonnage. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I'll actually get hold of Mike. I've got his email, and I'll ask him whether the AI locomotives actually put water in the boiler or not. Because I have to admit, I've never actually seen them running with two. Yeah, what time is it? Oh, it's 7 a.m, so it's going to get brighter. Oh, this, yeah, I know which scenario this is. This is actually kind of hard. Yep. Is it where our brakes? Our train brakes are released. I might want to put the cab light on just so you can see a little better. There you go. Why don't we do that? Let's see what he does. We're letting the AI drive it. He's almost moving. I like that. He goes, be gentle. Then he goes, highball. Good on you. Do you know what would happen to me if I ran out of water on one of our locomotives? Apart from being dead, if I survived, I'd probably never be allowed to do it again. And if you're wondering why you'd die if you ran out of water in a steam locomotive, the critical part of the boiler, which is the areas of the firebox which are exposed directly to heat first which is the crown sheet on the top of the firebox, will buckle and fail. Because a coal fire runs at about 1700 degrees Celsius, which is more than enough to actually destroy the steel. And the only thing that stops that happening is the water sitting on top of it, sucking the heat away. So, let's get back to Sherman Hill. After the final realignment in 1953, what was the ruling grade of Sherman Hill? Note that it sets this route. It dates this particular, not this route, because we're on Wasatch grade now, but it dates this route in the other one. Actually, you know what I think would be more fun than doing this? Hang on a tick. We'll leave this run. I was just thinking it'd be fun to see how well the SFS and Roblox wants me to play British Roblox on Roblox. Chiron the fastest is your user. Fair enough. I don't actually play Roblox. You're pretty close with 1%, Dave. Pretty close. Not quite there. 1.5 is a little high. No, I am going to do it. I'm going to go back to that first freight that we ran. And I'm going to run an extra 4,000 west because I want to see what happens. This has only got one locomotive. Because I made two versions of the scenario. One with 1 and one with 2. And I'm going to let the machine drive itself. There we go. He's on the ball. Just amuse yourselves for a moment. Sorry if I didn't go and blow my nose. Actually, I don't think the expert engineer knows how to stop, so I better do that. I didn't think the expert engineer knew how to stop. That's okay. Now, because that was unsuccessful, did it actually set the points for us? No, of course it didn't. Alright. So I'll put us back on the train, because our expert engineer's not expert enough to know to actually stop. Stop zooming in on stuff. And it is 0.8, Dave Randall. And it's interesting on TSC and TSW, it's actually 1 point something. Back we go to get our consist, having failed the first task. Because I forgot that the our engineer doesn't know how to stop the train, or where. It's not really a limitation on Mike's code. It's a limitation on what TSC can do. Because the train lure can't talk to the scenario lure, and vice versa. Lure is LUA. Back we go onto our train. Back in the wondrous city of Cheyenne, Wyoming. You think Brad should get it with 0.82? Tell you what, why don't I just give you both the points? That's an easy way to do that. Because you never know, it could actually be 0.82. Because the 8.8 came from Wikipedia. There might be another source that says it's 0.82. Wait, stop you. I did whack that hard, didn't I? How did coupling at 7 miles an hour push the train that far back? Come on. Alright, let's see what you can do, Mastermind. You got to go forwards though, dude. Go the other way. Alright, Mastermind's in charge. Wonder if Mastermind obeys speed limits. That's an interesting question. He's struggling with the start as much as I did, which is good. There we go. It's like deja vu, isn't it? But now we've got Skynet in charge. So clearly they'll do better than the human. Either that or the locomotive will up and kill everybody, one or the other. So, when was the entire line double-tracked? So the last segment, when did that go into place? It's a good thing I made this version that's only got one locomotive in the consist, isn't it? It is 4011. Once again, heading out of Cheyenne Yard. Mr. Expert Engineer is not obeying the speed limits, but that's okay. He's trying to. What's he doing? Oh, he's having a hard time. That's what he's doing. I think I'd like to sit in a cab and just watch what he's doing. Alright, where's the wide view? Give me the view that's the whole cab. Come on. Alright, yeah, that one. No, that one. Yeah, it bailed off. It's released the train brake. Wonder why he braked then at all. It's a bit weird. No, it's accelerating again. It's like a child's driving the train. 1949. Well done, Dave Randall. Stop braking, you loony. You know what? He's doing such a terrible job that I'm going to have to take over. Take the brakes off. That's better. Yeah, it feels like the brakes are on. They're not. But it feels like they are. I think they were still in the process of releasing from his last brake application. I think they've just come off. Now, despite that we're still snaking through points and stuff, let's try and get a head start in the hill. How interesting will it be if one engine succeeds in this and two couldn't? It's accelerating pretty well. Surprisingly well, in fact. Yeah, we'll just leave that go. So, when they succeeded in dropping to 0.8%, that meant they didn't need helper engines anymore. How many engine men were sacked on that day? We're still accelerating with one locomotive where two couldn't do it. It's interesting. Very interesting. How does that even happen? Well done, Dave Randall. You are correct. Indeed, Brad. That's the sentimental view which I would share. Too many. I've only got one more question for today, so I'll hold off for a little while. Because I want to see how far this can get. And now that he's in an open speed limit territory, let's turn our expert back on. Let's see what he does. Let's see if he does dumb things like he did before. Oh, he's brought the reverser back. And he's still accelerating. Alright. Oh, he's gone a bit forward on the reverser. Let's put it back where I had it, in fact. Oh, he's gone more. This is a script that's trying to figure out what's going on here, isn't it? Back to 44. The script has the advantage, I suppose, that it can instantly see what effect its changes are having, whereas the human driver has to wait for a couple of minutes. Trying to figure stuff out. Now I am only going to run this stream for another 19 minutes because I have got some stuff to do. So at 11 AM Australian Eastern Daylight Time, I will cut us off. But let's see how far this can get. It's not accelerating anymore. But it seems to have settled on a reverser position. No, it's moving it again. We'll go the last question. When did Sherman Hill come under CTC for its entirety? $19.53. Well done, Dave Randall. That's all for the quiz questions for today. So well done to all of you. Looks like Metra's got quite a few points. Dave Randall's got quite a few points. The new face, SFS, and Roblox has got quite a few new points. I think, Dave Randall, you would look like the overall winner of the day by the looks of it, the number of points that you have got. So, well done to you. Will it be enough to knock off Rolleston Rails? We shall see, because Rolleston Rails did actually get a couple of really hard ones last week. So we'll have to see. Plus, Moon Rabbit did pretty well that week too. We didn't even get through all the questions last week. How about that? I could ask some New Zealand questions. That might not be that appropriate, though. Not even away from the fireman then. Oh, that's an awful job, Dave Randall. Congratulations on the new flat. Hopefully it's everything that you want from it. Starting to feel the gradient now. It's losing speed again. Wallpaper is one of those interesting things that sounds like a great idea until you don't like it anymore. Then you have to get it off. In my student days, a long time ago, I lived in a student house and my room had so many layers of wallpaper on it that it probably made the room smaller. Dave has moved from a city with no support to 10 minutes from his sister and nieces. That's excellent. Good to have some family around. I think our expert engineer is a bit of a fiddler. He's forever changing the reverser. It's like he desperately wants to be back at 30 on the reverser. He pulls it back and goes, nah, need more power. You can indeed hide a lot of structural issues with wallpaper. Put enough wallpaper on, you probably create structure. So we're actually not far from the point where one locomotive failed. Or where two locomotives failed, rather, I should say. Because we were going through all the Borry jokes before. Does anybody remember, did we actually arrive at Borry? Did we get through it before we went on to the passenger version? Interesting how the ice hatches are all open. Must be empty cars. There's our frame rate looking pretty good. At this rate, we might actually make it to Borry inside the time frame. Your tyre's flat. That one. It's got a bit of a problem. Sorry to let you know. Oh, hang on, you're an American. Your tyre on the other side, mate. It's a bit flat. Oh, so's this one. You're sinking into the ground. That'd explain why this Jeep just sits here. It's both its tyres are flat, can't go anywhere. I'm getting that feeling too, Lexic Dark. I think we were just towing around a big boy. Well, the gate's opened, but the lights are still going. Oh, closing. Must be another train coming. Oh, there he is. Look at that. Missed your chance. Maybe if you pumped your tyres up, you'd actually be able to get through in time. This is the old school big boy. Actually, this is the middle of the road big boy on this route. The old one's on Wasatch Grade. Oh, they do work. How about that? It might be, I didn't actually look in the scenario builder in this, but it might be there's an AI version of the locomotive and a non-AI version. Some of the really complex TS Pro level locos are like that. They have a version that's designed for the AI to drive and a version that's designed for humans to drive. And if you don't pick the right one, bad things happen. That might be what I did. But he's doing pretty well. Don't know that I agree with that heading back to 20% though. I think that was a bad move. I think we might just take over from this guy. I think. Maybe I shouldn't take over from this guy. He was clearly doing a better job than me. Alright, back you go. Well, the first thing I'll do, Lexi Dark, is I'll have a look in the actual builder, and I'll see if there's AI versions of the train or not. Because if there are, that'll be the answer. You know, it's always going to be funny. How well can this guy start the train? Probably want a bit more on the brakes than that. That'll hold it. Stop the train. We'll see how well he can start it on a grade. This should be interesting. Alrighty, Mr. AI engineer, let's see what you can do. It's gone right forward on the reverser. Stretched out the couplers. The couplers have pulled him back. Going backwards on one engine, slipping on the other one. Ooh, might have got it. They're out of sync now, so the chuffs are going to be different. Oh, not bad at all. Yes, Lua scripting is a bit yuck, you're right. If you're interested in what you can do, I can send you a link to the spec. It's a pretty good start at a 1.5% grade, I have to say. I'm quite impressed with that. Alright, that'll do it. We are very fast approaching the 11 AM stop point. And we haven't run out of water, so I'm tipping that was the answer. That adding that second AI locomotive was actually a bad thing to do. This guy's almost gotten back up to the speed he was doing before. Quite impressive. Anyway, coming out on in a UK date, the 26th of January, so the 27th for the Aussies, will be the Edinburgh to Glasgow route in Train Sim World 3 with the class 385. I would think, going by usual practice, that the embargo will end on the 26th for me as well, which means I will be able to stream it on Australia Day. And I can't think of anything more Australian than visiting the colonisers and streaming their trains on Australia Day. That would just suit my sense of humour. So I shall, as soon as I get the confirmation that that's accurate, that would mean in the evening of the 26th, so probably about, trying to think GB time at the moment, they'll probably put it to about 9 PM, I guess. So we'll have a crack at the class 385 on Tuesday night on Australia Day. And I'll drive it again properly the weekend after that. So I will schedule those streams and we shall take that on. And should be some interesting new content. So thanks very much for watching today. There's been a few of you. We're down to the core crew now, though, because it went on a bit long, and that's life. Well done to the people who answered all of the trivia quiz questions. Nice work to you. And shall see you all next week. Thank you very, very much for watching, and thanks for taking part. So have fun, folks. I have to say, by the way, when I looked for Big Boy on Steam before, one of the things that came up was Bot Boy, which I thought kind of funny for a game. Anyway, enjoy stripping the wallpaper, enjoy the new flat Dave Randall. I am going to go out and finish making a deck. Alrighty. Oh, and help a neighbour cut a tree down. That should be fun. Have fun, folks. Bye. Thanks for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. I always like to get your feedback in the form of likes and comments because they help me understand what you want. Give the channel a subscribe and click on the tinkly things so you don't miss out on any new stuff. And thanks for your ongoing support. And please, be safe out there.